Well, good afternoon, everybody. I'm in Egypt, Sharm el-Sheikh at COP27. There's probably a bit of background noise there. I'm in the innovation zone where there are talks going on all over the place. I'm going to focus on, I think, maybe three issues in this. First of my COPtain's log of 2022. First is my experience of Sharm el-Sheikh and Egypt as a city hosting COP, and then going into the conversations I've had in the last 2.5 days. So very surreal getting on the EasyJet plane where there were about 20 people celebrating a birthday party in COP, and for 5 hours they emptied the drinks cabinet, and it got louder and louder and louder. And then the people around me were all reading climate journals and science journals, and there's this distinct gap between those that are on holiday and completely unaware of climate change, and then those that were, slightly excited and terrified about getting to COP. And that kind of translated into you walking down the streets in Sharm el-Sheikh, and there's the Buddha bar and the music's cranking, and we've just come out of a talk from Antonio Guterres, who is the Secretary General of the United Nations, saying that we're on a pathway to 2.4 degrees, which is total catastrophe. there's no 2.4 or 2.2 or 2.1. If we don't stop climate change at 1.5, we're all gonna have a pretty grim time. So Egypt is, or certainly Sharm el-Sheikh, is a very big place, and it's very disparate, and there are lots of events going on in different places. So it's quite hard to feel the vibe that Glasgow had. I mean, Glasgow was amazing. You had, I miss seeing Darth Vader, who was on the train with me in the morning, and I miss talking to the young activist with her grandmother, and we were all there helping paint her signboard. I think that is something you miss here because it just doesn't exist. But that said, going into what's actually happening on the ground, the buzzwords that are coming out, one I think is a good one, and one I think might be quite a bad one. One is, it's called the Action COP, and I was at a finance COP for 2 days, and it felt like the finance sector is a coiled spring. All they do is talk about, we've got all this money, we want to invest, and they keep saying they don't have any investment opportunities. And my Collaborate to Zero book is entirely about the fact that finance and entrepreneurship speak a different language, and matching those together is tough. And we didn't hear a lot of examples of, oh, guess what, I've done this or I've done that. So disappointed, but I think there's probably more to come out of that. The other buzzword was greenwashing. And it was talking about, oh, we've got to be pure play. Now, that's great if you're a pure play. It's also quite nerve-wracking if they use that as an excuse and go, oh, I'm not going to invest because I don't know if it's a pure play, and what exactly does eco mean, and what does green look like. So I hope it isn't a blocker, but it might be used as a blocker by the finance sector to actually not deploy real cash. There are 35,000 people here, and twice now there have been COP delegates that have been on the stage where they've said, this is my 10th COP, and I've been doing this for 20 years. And twice, or both of them have said they've been fundamentally disappointed in the level of action and actually what's happened. But this time they feel that there is this shift of, did you know that climate change is happening, to actually, I come from Pakistan, or I come from America, or I come from Europe, and there were record temperatures, there were record droughts, there were record flooding, there was record everything, which it touched everybody around the planet. It wasn't, anybody didn't sit there going, oh, I had a great time in the last year and it's all been fine. It's touched everybody. And I think everything else that's gone on top of that, which is the war, food insecurity, there is mobilization of people that are in dire straits. That's going to impact everybody, and it is impacting everybody already. So there's this real issue around how on earth do we move this quickly. And a great example was in yesterday's session, the CEO of Capgemini, I had no idea, they have 300,000 employees. As of his announcement yesterday, 150,000 Capgemini employees have been through their sustainability school. That is phenomenal. I was expecting him to say 2,000 people are part of their eco club. 150,000, and he expects the other 150,000 to go through the eco school, which is just incredible. So this is real. Another real statistic was green bonds. Green bonds started in 2011, and in the first year they managed to issue $3 billion worth of green bonds. This year they've issued $3 trillion worth of green bonds. The market is completely scaled. So there's real demand and real interest, and there's real money being spent on whether it be wind turbines, whether it be solar panels, whether it be anything that's around regenerative power. There is real money that is actually being spent in this, and there is, it seems, an ever increasing amount of cash that wants to go into this space. Sean Kidney, who is the head of climate bonds, sorry, left me with a slightly shocking, or left us with a shocking statistic, which is climate has a 30-year lag. So the issues that we are feeling this year came from carbon in the atmosphere 30 years ago. And since then, we have put more carbon in the atmosphere than we have in the last 150 years. So the notion of, even if we stopped CO2 emissions tomorrow, he said, by tomorrow at 9 o'clock in the morning, if we stop tomorrow at 9 in the morning, we will still have 30 years of climate emergency, unpredictable climate weather patterns. So his comment to, and the realism that's coming through is, this isn't about climate change, this is about climate resilience for the next 30 years, because things are going to get really ugly for a lot of people for 30 years until we start curving the emissions curve down, or find other ways of doing this a lot better. So there's some real hard-hitting chat, and I go back to Antonio Gutierrez's opening remarks, where if anybody, if you follow me on LinkedIn, I've liked it, please watch it. It's 10 minutes of, he gets over the niceties of saying hello to people and just dives straight in and goes, we're burning and we need to fix this. So it was a very hard-hitting, very direct message from the Secretary General of the United Nations. So it doesn't get higher than that. So far, it doesn't feel like Edinburgh at all. You don't have the kind of the community vibe. You've certainly got the politicians, and you've got the government delegates here. There is some business here, a bit. There's a lot of finance here, but there isn't it doesn't feel like there's a lot of meshing together of the people that what happened in Edinburgh. There was a lot of that. My hope is in the next couple of days, there are a whole bunch more events going on, and I'm going to be pushing for examples. Whenever you sit down and somebody goes, oh, we need to do this, I'm going to be asking, well, what is the example? What is the case study? Where is the leadership that we can lean into and use as a case study and use as a storytelling opportunity, like Capgemini going, well, we've just trained 150,000 people. That's pretty cool, and that's great leadership. So we need to see more of that. So I'm pretty hopeful for the next couple of days. I'm out on Thursday afternoon So I'm giving a talk tomorrow. I've been asked to speak on behalf of business around what legal changes can be made for corporates to be more sustainable, or what legal changes would corporates like to see for businesses to move faster, which I think is a great challenge, and I've got lots of ideas. So delighted that I will be sitting on the innovation stage tomorrow. So my lots of learnings, lots of listening in my first 2 days of COP and in my first COPtain's log. It feels like there's stuff going on. I'm not seeing it just yet, but I'm hoping that in the next couple of days where I kick some more tires, I'll have a better sense of real change that's going on. But it feels very exciting, I have to say. Compared to Glasgow, it really does feel like there's a lot of, as I use the word, coiled spring. It does feel like there's a coiled spring, and I think there's a desire to unlock. We just need people to give the examples to help that unlock. That is my COPtain's log number 1 of COPtain 27, Sharm el Sheikh, over and out.